Hi guys, Web of the site, and in this video I want to talk about fear of judgment and how it is stopping you to be yourself and pursue your deepest and wildest dream. So before I begin, I want to ask you now, I don't know how long you haven't watching my videos or what you think about it. Maybe you like it, maybe you dislike it, maybe you're like, oh, he just talks crap or whatever. But what I want you to observe here is that whether you like me or you don't like me, you are judging me. And see, that's what people do, that's what you do, that's what I do, and we do it every single day to different degrees. People judge because we human beings are meaning making machines. This is what we do as human beings, we judge, and there's never going to be a time for most of the part that you are not going to be evaluated, praised or judged in some shape or form, right? And if you spend your life trying to not being judged, you are pretty much not going to do anything with your life. So to give an example of this, I'm a huge UFC fan, and there's a famous fighter that I really like and follow on Instagram. He is the richest fighter in the UFC, and he recently posted a clip of his training. And when I had a look at the comment section of the clip that he had posted, there were many people commenting positively, praising him, and also there were many people who were just talking some crap, some negative comments. So what I have realized is that this fighter, being the richest, most successful fighter in UFC, he has made millions and millions in the fight game, and people are still judging him. And what I want you to know is that it's not that they are judging this celebrity, but really what they are doing is they are reflecting who they are back to themselves when they judge him. It's the same when they judge you, right? People are not actually judging you, quite literally they are judging themselves by defining themselves as someone who has to judge. Do you see what I mean? Now there is a famous Buddhist quote that goes along the line that I am not who and what you think I am, you are who and what you think I am. And that was something that was happening when they were judging this celebrity. People were judging their interpretation of this celebrity, but ironically many even don't know him personally. So all they were doing is they were putting out their version of who they are to the world, and this celebrity is just the mirror for that. So the two biggest fear about judgment people generally have for most part of their life is number one, fear of rejection, and number two, fear of not being good enough. And both of these fears are judgment based. So let's talk about fear of rejection first. And you can find it in your different areas of your life. Like let's say you want to start a YouTube channel, or you want to start your business, or you have some artistic talent like singing or dancing, and you want to pursue this artistic endeavor. And what I have seen is that at some level what people feels like is that when I put myself out there, people are going to reject me. Now let me ask you a simple question. Have you ever rejected anyone before? Maybe someone asked you to buy something, or to take a loan, or to take a credit card, or someone in your family asked you to do something for them and you rejected, or maybe a homeless person asked you for the money. Did you reject them? And what I want you to ask, what I want to ask you, if you reject people, then why wouldn't other people also reject people? It's simply what people do. I mean, it's just common. That is how we show up as human beings. But this is something that quite literally paralyzes a lot of people. So if you have rejected, if you have rejected before, rejected people, then it would be pretty unreasonable to expect that you would also not be rejected. But still, we let this fear paralyze us to a point that we don't put ourselves out there. And I know that we are social creature and people wanted to be liked, but you know what? People are going to reject you every single day, and they are going to reject you for myriads of reasons. It could be what you are doing, what you are not doing, what you are wearing. It could be from from where you are, what language do you speak, because human have a very myopic, very myopic focus of the world that we live in. Now what I want you to do is to think about a cricketer that you like. Now think about a cricketer that you don't like. Now think about a singer that you like. And now think about a thinker that you don't like. Think about a politician that you like. Now think about a politician that you don't like. Hopefully, it's becoming very obvious by this point that you judge all day long and people judge all day long. People judge, and hopefully you are noticing by this point is that not being judged is one of the biggest fear that pretty much everyone else has, yet it's the number one thing that we do on daily basis. So now I have a few questions for you that I want you to write down and ponder upon, right? And the question is, how many people have to accept you or not reject you before you are okay with letting go of this fear of people rejecting you? Now, I want you to spend some time thinking about it. So let's say 10 people accept you and love you. Well, is that enough for you to recognize that you are just fine the way that you are? You are great in the way that you are? Or do 1,000 people or million people or 10 million people? Or are you looking for the approval of the whole world? I want you to look, at that from this perspective. So be okay as you are right now, because there's always going to be someone that's going to like you, someone that's going to be neutral toward you, or someone that's not going to like you. And what I believe is that in our life, we are here to learn the lessons that life wants us to teach us, right? Every single person is here to learn his own lesson, and no two people have the same lessons or same learning in their life. So why would you judge anyone else, and why would anyone else judge you about being good enough or better or whatever when you are learning completely different lessons while you are here on this planet? It doesn't make any sense. So let other people live and learn their lessons, and you focus on your lessons, right? Now let's talk about fear of judgment of not being good enough or being inadequate. And what I want you to know is that this fear comes from comparison. You cannot be inadequate if you are not comparing yourself to someone else. It's a poison in our society, the number of people that compare themselves to the other people. And I want you to know that inadequacy requires comparison. If you are comparing yourself to other people, what you are doing is you are putting people in hierarchy. You are putting people above you, you are putting people below you. And I could tell you that in a simple language that stop comparing yourself, but that probably wouldn't work or have the effect that I want you to have it, right? Because with this video, what I am sharing, I don't want it to be just an information. I want it to be the transformation, and I want something to shift in your perspective, to shift in your thinking. So if you are going to compare yourself to other people, if you are going to compare your inadequacy or your adequacy, I want you to do it by adding some criteria to it. The reason that I want you to add criteria is because I want you to know when you are good enough. So the number one criterion is, how many people have to say that you are good enough before you accepted that you are good enough? That's criteria number one, right? Next criteria. What should be the status of these people that are going to accept you? So for example, if rich people or famous people or educated people say that you are good enough, or if your friends or family say that you are good enough, is that good enough to be good enough? So also, let's say that somebody says that you are not good enough about something what you do. Well, let's say that a person is not educated and he says that you are not good enough in whatever what you do. Or let's say a person is PhD and he says that you are not good enough at what you do. Well, how much expertise the people have to have or not have to have for you to listen to their opinion about you being good enough or you not being good enough? Now let's say that 10 people says that, now let's say all of them have bachelor's degree and they are in different age categories. They all went to the college and they all have different opinions. Some says that you are really good at what you do, some say that you are not good, you're not so good, and some say that you are okay. Well, how do you weigh each person's opinion? Have you ever considered that in this way? And then speaking of opinion, how will you know that you have enough opinions? I mean, can you ask 10 people? Can you ask 30 people? Do you need to ask 2,000 or 10,000, or do you need million people? How many opinions are enough? And then what are the educational level and social status of all these opinions? Do you now understand what I'm trying to say? What I want you to get from this, and hope you are getting it, is that how ridiculous it is to allow your life to be driven by the judgment and opinion of the other people. Because no matter what you do or who you are or where you are, where you go, there are always going to be someone that's better. There are always going to be people that are higher in social status and financial status. There are going to be people who are lower on social and financial status than you. There are going to be people that are smarter than you, not smarter than you, richer than you, not richer than you. And hopefully you are getting that no matter where you are in life, you are just fine. And that's exactly where you need to be right now, and everything is perfect. Because if you compare yourself to other people, you will never be good enough, because there will always be someone better. And also what I want you to know is that if you are judging by externals, meaning like cars, homes, business, money, success, and whatever it is, you are setting yourself up for a lot of failure, because it's a huge trap. And what you are doing is you are setting your life up for a lot of unhappiness, because as I said earlier, there are always going to be someone better, smarter, richer, and prettier than you. And you will never be happy, because you are comparing yourself to the world, and there's always gonna be someone ahead of you. Now the biggest mistake people make is that people try to avoid judgment, and that's the most ineffective strategy that keeps people trapped for the lifetime. Because the very same strategies what keep them trapped where they are, and not letting them blossom, to go out in the world and to do the things that they want to do, to help people, to make the kind of money, to make the kind of impact that they want to make in the world. So the best way, the most effective way to get through the fear of judgment is to accept that you are going to be judged. Because if you accept that, when you work from that place, that is very effective and very powerful strategy. Because now you already understanding that you are not avoiding it by not putting out, not getting out there. You are not avoiding the judgment. You are walking right into it to face on. Because as I said, people are always going to judge someone. People are always going to judge you. So why not just go out and have a good time and do what you want to do, right? So when I started this channel, I always had doubt about myself. I always used to ask myself, like, am I good enough? Is my content good enough? Are people going to like me? And one day I read a quote that completely shifted my perspective, and the quote was, stop asking how good you are and start asking what the world needs. So I know my videos are not perfect. I still need to work a lot to make the kind of impact that I'm hoping for. But now I'm not really concerned about all of that. What I'm concerned about and what occupies my thinking is how many people can I help. Because when I work from that place, I work with an open heart. I let the information come through me, and that's when I think I make my biggest impact. And then I want you to look at your life. How many of us judge ourselves every single day? We look at ourselves and we are like, I'm not good enough, I'm not wealthy, I'm not this, I'm not that. Because you know what? Even if no other people judge you, you are the harshest judge of yourself. So a question that I have for you is, to what degree do you judge yourself? Is that what you judge yourself negatively? Is that how you start your day? Do you get up and you start picking up at yourself like that you are not this, you are not that? You know what? You are what you are. So ask yourself, when you will decide to take the actions to pursue the dreams that you have. Can you only take action when you are in 100% judgment free zone? When everything must be perfect, absolutely perfect for you. And how will you even know that when? How will you know when to stop being in the fear of judgment? And the answer to this is, now is a good time. Because understand that no matter what you do, you are going to be judged. So why not go out and do what you enjoy doing anyways, because you are going to be judged anyways, right? So now is the good time to let go of that fear. Another question for you is, what would your life gonna look like 3 months from now, years from now, if you took action even though you knew you were going to be judged? Just imagine it for a moment. How your life would be different a year from now if you started taking action even in the fear of judgment. And what I want to share with you is, even though you are afraid to do it, to put yourself out there, when you start doing it, it becomes very easy very quickly, because you will learn that, what, you're not going to be drop dead. Even though people are going to judge you, but still things are going to be just fine, because you like doing this, so let me keep doing this, right? And then things start taking off for you at that point. And when you do that, the real you will start coming through, and you will see changes happening in your life. At that point, no matter what you do, people are going to judge you. So why not just go out and do what you love to do and make difference in the world. And with that, I'm concluding this video. Leave me a comment down below to let me know if that's useful, or if you have anything to ask. I'll be more than happy to answer them. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Until next time, much love and peace.